The best AI model you can run right now isn't made by OpenAI. It's free, and it's already beating ChatGPT on real tasks. I know that sounds like clickbait, so let me show you the receipts. In the last 6 months, open-source models have crossed a threshold that nobody expected. Models like Llama 3.1, Mistral Large, and Quen are now scoring higher than GPT-4 on standard AI benchmarks. But here's the thing. Benchmarks don't tell the whole story. The real proof is in what they can actually do. Let me break down what's happening and why it matters so much right now. First, let's talk about what we mean by open-source AI. These are large language models that are released publicly, with code and weights you can download and run on your own hardware. OpenAI keeps ChatGPT closed. You pay per use, you don't own it, and you can't modify it. Open-source models? You get the whole thing. You own it. You can run it offline. You can fine-tune it. You can deploy it anywhere. For years, the closed models, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, were just better. Full stop. You'd test them side by side, and the proprietary stuff would win. But something shifted around mid-2024. The gap collapsed. Here's the concrete evidence. In December 2024, Llama 3.1405b, Meta's open-source flagship, scored 88.7% on the MMLU benchmark, which tests broad knowledge across science, history, law, math, basically everything. GPT-4o scored 88.7% too. They're tied. But Llama is open source. You can download it right now and run it. Then there's Mistral Large. It's significantly smaller than GPT-4o, uses way less compute, and on many real-world tasks, coding, reasoning, writing, it matches or beats it. And again, it's open. You can inspect it. You can modify it. But the benchmark story isn't even the most important part. The real story is what open source enables that closed models can't. Let me give you a concrete example. A researcher I follow recently built a specialized AI system for medical diagnosis. They took Llama 3.1, fine-tuned it on medical literature and case studies, and deployed it locally in a clinic. They couldn't do that with ChatGPT. OpenAI's terms of service don't let you fine-tune GPT-4o on sensitive data and deploy it in production like that. But with open source, you own it. You control it. You can make it do exactly what you need. This is huge for companies and researchers. A startup building an AI product used to have 2 paths: pay OpenAI's API fees forever or build their own model from scratch. Now there's a third path: take an open source model, customize it, own it. That changes the entire economics of AI. Here's another angle: speed and latency. If you're running ChatGPT, every request goes to OpenAI's servers, waits in a queue, and comes back. If you run Llama locally, it's instant. No network request, no rate limits, no waiting. For real-time applications, that's game-changing. Privacy is another huge one. If you're a hospital or a law firm, sending patient data or confidential documents to OpenAI servers is risky. It's in their terms that they might use it to train future models. With open source, you run it on your own infrastructure. Your data never leaves your building. That's not a minor feature. That's a deal breaker for entire industries. Now, I want to be fair here. There are reasons ChatGPT is still dominant. OpenAI has spent billions on training data, compute, and refinement. The user experience is polished. The API is reliable. For most casual users, ChatGPT is easier and it works. But if you care about ownership, privacy, cost, or customization, open source has caught up in capability and already won on everything else. Here's what's wild though. Most people don't know this. The narrative is still ChatGPT is the best, everything else is catching up. But in developer communities, in research labs, in companies actually building AI products, the conversation has shifted. People are quietly moving to open source because it's better for their use case. The reason nobody talks about this is partly because OpenAI has better marketing. They announced GPT-4, it was shiny, the press covered it, everyone knows about it. Meta released Llama 3.1, and it went mostly unnoticed outside tech circles. But in raw capability, they're peers now. There's also a narrative that open source models are somehow less safe or less reliable. That's not really true anymore. Llama 3.1 and Mistral Large are stable, well-tested, and thoroughly documented. The safety concerns that existed 2 years ago have been addressed. So what does this mean for you? If you're using ChatGPT and paying for it, it might be worth asking yourself whether you need to. If you're a developer or building something, open source models are probably a better bet now. Cheaper, faster, and you own it. If you're worried about privacy, this is the only option that makes sense. The bigger picture is this. We're moving from an era where AI was controlled by a handful of companies to an era where the best tools are free and available to anyone with a computer. That's a huge shift in power. It matters. If you want to actually keep up with AI without the hype and the marketing spin, subscribe. I break down what's actually happening in AI every few days, and most of it contradicts what you're hearing in the mainstream. Hit subscribe, and you'll be ahead of the curve on this stuff.